the state has not been able to allege enough probable cause that my client knew or intended that there was marijuana in his possession. I understand that the allegations say that there was some type of furtive movement, but my client yielded to law enforcement show of authority, and then gave law enforcement his identification. The passenger ends up leaving law enforcement. He stays there, and again, there's not enough to establish that he knew or intended that there was weed in his car. The allegations also don't, pinpoint where the marijuana actually was. So this was this was unbeknownst to my client, Judge.
So officer comes up to the car and he sees him trying to conceal.
Yes,
right?
I don't think that. I believe the allegations say that that's what the officer maybe seems to believe, but after further review, there's nothing that says that's definitive or that's even probable cause. For all we know, he was rummaging around to give him his ID, which he did. That's why he got picked up.
No, but he says he's got a plastic bag and he's trying to put a plastic bag behind the console.
Because, Your Honor, they found his hand between the front seat and the center console. They observed his hand in between the console.
There was a plastic bag too?
It says that they observed a plastic bag containing the green leafy substance. Yes, Your Honor. And that was after the passenger exited. So when they walked up, they saw him with his hand in between the console and the front seat where they observed him trying to conceal something.
So, Judge, in the DIMS, it says, quote, as the front seat passenger exited the vehicle with his hands up, I saw a plastic bag containing a green leafy substance. The way I'm reading that, Judge, is that's more attributable to the passenger and the alleged marijuana that was near his person than it was my client. Again, the rummaging around, Judge, I don't think there's enough of a nexus to establish that. My client yielded to law enforcement show of authority. He gave law enforcement his ID. While he's standing there submitting to law enforcement show of authority, the guy with his hands up with the marijuana that's around him leaves. So if anything, this should be attributable to the passenger.
Saying that the weed is the passenger's client, not your client. That's what you're saying.
Yes, and based on the allegations, Judge, there's not enough probable cause that attributes my client knew or intended that marijuana was in his possession when everything just as much points to someone who ran away from the cops.
Read the DIMS again, and then who is the one who's allegedly hiding things?
It's the driver, Your Honor, which is the defendant. Right. The officer said the officer observed the driver have his hand between the front seat and the center console, and previously...
Okay, wait. So between the front seat
in the center console, and the officer said, I observed the driver leaning over the console trying to conceal something next to the console and front seat passenger. And that's where he observed his hand in the front seat, between the front seat passenger and the console. So the officer observed trying to conceal something. And all the DIM says in regards to the passenger and the marijuana is that as the front seat passenger exited the vehicle with his hands up, I saw a plastic bag containing a green leafy substance smelling of marijuana. It doesn't say